my name's Stephen. I'm in recovery. I just feel like saying not guilty. I'm in recovery. 9 months. And I'll tell you a little about my story, and I'll tell you why 9 months means more than anything in my life right now. I grew up. I'm also Blackpool. I grew up in this town. At an early age, I started hanging around with my friends. My family was really good. We was a normal family, had a really good upbringing, but a lot of the friends I started hanging around with were, the mums was selling cannabis, and you could drink beer there, and we could stay over there the night, and that was really appealing to me. We used to listen to like UB40, smoke a couple of joints, and think we was living really good. That's what I did. It quickly progressed. I started taking solvents. I was really naughty at school. I got kicked out of a junior school in Blackpool, and I wasn't allowed to go to any junior school in Blackpool. Nowhere would take me. So I went to a special school for 2 hours a day, and I loved that because they used to take me to Pleasure Beach. And then I used to go to school afterwards and kind of wind all the kids up because they were still in school. I thought all that stuff was really good. So I went there. I started getting into, trips, magic mushrooms. I did them. I did them once only, both times. I never took them ever again. I had really bad experiences from them. They didn't work for me. I ended up smashing my mum's house up. And just hallucinated and woke up in hospital. I never took them again. What I did do is I went to stronger ones. I started, I was just a really naughty kid. I used to hang around with all the naughty lads on my estate, and we used to cause trouble, mayhem, and take drugs, and we started drinking Merry Down. All of them things on a weekend, and we started doing that regular, and I started becoming out of control. I left school when I was 16 with no qualifications. I went straight to a sweet factory, took that job on. Within a year or two, I met someone who was taking heroin, and I decided to take them with him, with my brother. We did that. It quickly progressed. Within 6 months, I got 15 months in a Young Offenders Institute. Never been in prison in my life. Me and my brother, I grew up with my brother, and, I didn't realise at the time, we spent the next 10, 15 years sharing a prison cell together, me and my brother. So, that's what drugs did to me. I was a prolific offender in Blackpool, so I used to go to prison in and out for years, like you've heard a few of years, and I used to go to prison. I used to promise my mum I'd never use drugs again when I got out. I went on down the methadone route. I used to get off the methadone in prison, but because I was times are changing a little bit now, but because I was a prolific offender in this town, when I got out of prison, I was picked up by prolific offender team, and I was pretty much told to be back on the methadone program just in case I start committing crime. So it was just to kind of stop me committing crime. So I just went back on the methadone, and nothing ever worked for me. I used on top of that. I used more on top of that. My drug of choice is also more. So I just want more. So I did that for years, in and out of prison. I committed crimes. I did all this with my brother. I become really close with my brother in prison. I found out who he was when we were using. I've never seen my brother clean. And over the years we spent a lot of time in prison. He had my back, I had his back. You fight one, you fight two of us. And he always fought my fights for me. You know, in 2009 we got a phone call and I said, go to the hospital, your brother's broke his arm. I went there, I went into the hospital, his arms were swelled up, his chest was swelled up. We didn't know it at the time, but he'd had a bag of heroin, he'd injected it, and it had anthrax poison in it. You know, he went into an induced coma. You know, and within 2 days we had to switch the life support machine off on him. You know, I remember the last words he said to me was, get me some shorts, I'll fight this, I'm a soldier. And, you know, you know, he died. You know, and I got worse. I just used more. My mum used to always say, how can you keep using that when it's killed your brother? I could never explain that stuff to her, I just did. Went back to prison for many more years, but I always wanted to stop, just didn't know how to. So I used to go to prison and use in prison. You know, in 2015, I got just under 4 years in prison for possession with intent to supply. You know, and I was on a methadone script again. I went on a recovery wing in Preston Prison. I met a drug worker in there who believed in me a bit and said, do you want to come on the recovery wing? I went on the recovery wing and, you know, I come off my methadone. I did a rapid reduction. I was still using on top. I did a rapid reduction and I remember, you know, I wanted to go to some sort of rehab in prison, and I got a letter the other day off one of my drug workers. It was a letter I wrote to him the day I got remanded, and I was begging him, I'm just going to get like 4 years, but when I get out, I need some sort of rehab, because I never done rehab, I never got the chance. You know, I was that involved in criminal activity, I never ever got a chance, so I just went to prison and I got out and I got put in hostels where everybody else was using, so I just used, that's all I ever knew. So, you know, I wanted to go and do something about it, but I wasn't doing over 4 years, so I didn't qualify to go to the TC at Wymot, is where I met Flo also. I ended up speaking to my court officer and saying I really needed it, and they got me to Wymot. When I landed in Wymot, I was rattling, I was withdrawing. I put myself on, you know, I got my telly took off me and I just stayed in a pad before I went on the TC. You know, I was getting drugs brought in on visits, but I didn't want to go on the TC because I was thinking, what's the point in going on the TC if I'm getting drugs in? So what I did was, I took my visitor's name off the visits list. I got in touch with the drug services in Wymot and said, look, you know, I've done a couple of months, I've had enough. You know, I was honest with them and told them what was happening and I need to get on this TC. I was also on cocodamol, you know, because I was in my addiction. I was beaten black and blue. I was stabbed, I had my fingers cut off and I had to jump out of a 3rd story floor window. I have metal plates in my leg, you know, to get away from, you know, I was nearly killed. And I was on a high dose of codeine, obviously the strongest ones. But I was never taking them, I just saved them up and had them every week. You know, so I signed off everything, you know, and I signed there and then on that day I signed off all my medication and said I need to go on there. I went on the TC in Wymot and kind of addressed my behaviours and I was still using, you know, I was telling lies, I was using, I didn't want to, but I was now and again, not so much, but I couldn't, you know, if someone said I'm using, I just said, yeah, I'm in, I'll have it, you know, and that's what I did. You know, and the last time I used was Christmas Day in Wymot, and when I got locked behind my door, I started crying my eyes out. I didn't enjoy the buzz, didn't want to write loads of letters and tell everyone how well I was doing. Tell my mum I'm on the TC and I'm doing really well. You know, I was crying my eyes out and, you know, I've never used again since that day. I got myself around some really good people in Wymot and, You know, I only had 3 months left and I was going to get out. I was really scared when I got out. What am I going to do? I've been in and out of prison for 20 years. Every time I get out, I just use and I ruin lives, including my own. So what I did was I got in touch with some people who are in here tonight. Clinton, who's behind me, I was on the TC and Flow. Staff really helped me on the TC, you know. I didn't get all that with prison officers, me sitting on your bed. I was always get behind your door and take your telly off you. But I went on the TC, I was honest, not with staff, if I'd be really honest, to an extent, but I was honest with a couple of people who were doing good. You know, there were graduates on there, and I kind of owe them a lot because, you know, I got honest. I was really scared, and what I did was I got something in place for when I got out, and I got out of Weymouth Prison on March the 3rd this year. I got up to meet Clinton, a few people in here, and I went in a recovery house where one of my friends was in there, who I was in Preston prison with on the recovery wing, and he was clean. You know, we do mutual aid meetings. I thank them. They've saved my life. They pointed a lot of things out to me I don't know. I've done that stuff every day since I've got out. You know, I'm everywhere. You know, things I do with my mum, my sister and my nephew today, priceless. You know, my mum has never believed in me. I told her I'm going to stay clean for years. She never really believes it. She does a bit now. She's really proud. You know, I got a text off her 2 nights ago, and I don't know if she'd had a drink. It sounded like it. Told her she maybe need a meeting. She was like, you know, even if I die, I will die happy. Because I used to promise my mum, I used to ring her up from the phone, and I used to promise her that I won't use when I get out. And if I took a lie detector test there and then I'd have passed it, because I meant it. When I got out, I used. You know, I now know I don't have to use ever again, you know. I never thought I'd ever get clean in Blackpool. I live here, I've used with most people in this town, know me. You know, I had some really good advice when I got out, and it was loads of people was approaching me and saying who's got the best drugs. I never knew I had the best drugs ever. I always bought the shittest ones, and still went back for more. And and I was struggling with it when I got out. I was really struggling. I couldn't stay clean, and they said, just tell them Jesus loves you, they'll soon walk away. I've used that regular. You know, I got out of prison, I did the DEEP programme, which Acorn run, what are also in here tonight. Best decision I ever made in my life. I met my best little friend who's in here tonight, who you're going to hear next. You know, and we do everything together on a daily basis. I have it with people in recovery. That is all I have it with. I don't have people who are using. You know, I do have a few because I do help newcomers, but I just put myself around people in thingy. You know, I went into Weymouth prison a couple of weeks ago, probably one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life, because, you know, it's about challenging my thinking, and my head always told me. You know, I met an American guy, and, you know, I told Pete earlier, he probably don't know, he did a share, he brought some guy in, and when I went back to my pad and I thought, I want to do that. You know, and I went into Weymouth a couple of weeks ago, I loved it, I met most of the people on there who I got clean with. It was a brilliant experience. I'm going to college. I've just signed up for college. I start on Friday. You know, my life, it's changed, you know, and I said something the other day, like my whole way of thinking is like turned 360 degrees, you know. He only pointed out afterwards, no, that's a full turn, it's 180. No, I'm still not really good at thinking, you know. What I do today is I make my mum proud. You know, my brother's not here, and he never got this recovery, and yeah, a few of our mates have relapsed, and what we do is we get around and we help them. You know, we're going to Kirkham prison this afternoon. Matt's took me into a few prisons, thank you, Matt. You know, people like that in long-term recovery who get around people like me and help me, you know, and believe in me when I don't believe in myself and all that stuff, and point out things I don't know about. I'm not really good at making decisions. Shopping's a biggie. I ran out of the shopping centre when I first got out of prison because I didn't know which pot to choose. There was a lot of them. Like Pete said, I'm really good on a canteen sheet. In jail, I can do them in a second. Put me in a supermarket and I struggle. You know, they're all things I'm doing today. You know, I've just done the Amy Winehouse Foundation. I've just completed that. I'm waiting to go into schools and do stuff like that. You know, from where I've come from, that is like amazing. I just wanted to stop using drugs. You know, I tell a lie. When I come here, I just wanted to stop going to prison. I didn't think about the drugs. You know, today I'm total abstinent, nearly 9 months. I'm loving life and thanks everyone.